Fellas, the number one way to get better in the bedroom, you have to record yourself. Okay, if you've ever played any sports, if you ever played video games, if you ever played an instrument, you know the best way to improve is by watching your old footage. Okay, now I'm going to show you, not just tell you like why it's important to watch your own footage, but also how to watch your own footage and like actually improve on it. So first things first, why is it important to watch your footage? Because as you know, when you play video games, if you played sports, if you played an instrument, you're watching yourself make mistakes. Right, and ladies, honestly, you could probably benefit from this too. If you're like, you could honestly probably benefit from this too. But you're watching your own mistakes, right? So if you play a sport, right? If you're learning, like if you play basketball, whatever the case may be, and you notice you're missing way more shots in a particular game, you can watch that and you can look at your form and you can be like, oh shit, that's why I'm missing those shots. My form is off, right? Super simple, super easy. Something else, if you play football and like, man, I'm not shaking my defender, you can look at the routes that you're running and you can notice, okay, these are the mistakes. I'm not running my route correctly. That's what my coach was talking about. Same thing with video games. If you play video games, I'm not going to explain to you video games. I feel like that's just redundant, but that's the reason why you're able to look at your mistakes and you're able to improve in that area, right? So now the next thing is, how am I supposed to watch my film to get better? What am I looking for to improve? I say this all the time. The physical sex is, I think, 80 to 90% mental. If I'm being honest with you, sex is 80 to 90% mental. Mark, what does that mean? That means the physical doesn't really matter that much. It's important, yes, but making sure your partner is in the right mental space to receive pleasure makes the physical way easier. If you don't know what that means, I'll give you an example. So, a long time ago, right, with my ex, it would take her about 10 to 15 minutes for me to get out that first orgasm for her, right? It would take me like 10, 15 minutes to make her come for the first time, right? Then once we really started exploring with foreplay, once we really started like diving in, making sure she was in the right mental space, it went from 10 to 15 minutes to like, I'm not even joking, like 30 to 2 minutes. Not 30 minutes, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So just off of me making sure that she's in the right mental space, it went from 10 to 15 minutes to 30 seconds to 2 minutes. It really does. That's how much of a change that making sure she's in the right mental works. With that being said, you still got to do the physical. How do we do the physical? What's the most important for physical? Consistency. I don't care if you're eating the box. I don't care if you're stroking it. I don't care if you're talking to her. The most important thing is consistency, right? I don't care how deep you can get. I don't care if she say I like it really rough and you can just drill and hard as fast as you can. I don't care how deep you can get. I don't care how fast you can get. I don't care if you're super fast with your fingers. I don't care if you're super. It doesn't matter if you're not consistent. It's that simple. It does not matter. I promise you, it does not matter. The most important thing is that you're consistent. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, how does consistency relate to watching our videos, watching our footage, watching our game tape? Exactly why I'm here. So, I'll give you a perfect example. So, I have a sex video on my phone with me giving this very, very attractive young lady back shots. We went to this hotel. I'm giving her back shots on the chair, right? During the time frame, by the way, just for some context, the entire sex video was like, it's like 20 minutes long. There's like me eating her out in the beginning, and then like us, like the last 10 minutes of us just cuddling and talking. And then like the rest of the 15 minutes or whatever the case may be is just us going at it until she taps out. Now, why is me watching me giving her back shots on the couch so pivotal? And what is it that you can learn from this? While I'm giving her back shots on the chair, I don't know if I said couch, but on the chair, while I'm giving her back shots on the chair, I'm stroking it nonstop for 1 minute and 7 seconds. Sorry, 2 minutes. I'm stroking it nonstop for 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Okay, if you're watching it, it's like I start out, I want to say like the first 10, 15 seconds, I'm going at like this kind of pace right here. And then after 10, 15 seconds, I turn it up a notch. Cuz now I'm like, okay, I'm in the zone. We can go a little bit harder. I feel comfortable with this. Let me take it up a notch. And I'll get into that later. So I'll take it up a notch. And now I'm like, I'm going like that tempo, right? At 42 seconds, she comes. Right? Non-stop stroke. I wasn't stopping. I didn't, there was no 10, 15 seconds and then I stop. I'm talking 42 seconds non-stop. She comes. And then at about 1 minute 47 seconds, she comes again. And then at 2 minutes and 7 seconds, she like can't hold herself up anymore. So I have to stop because she's like, we're on the chair and she's like holding herself up and then her body just kind of goes limp. And now I have to like pick her back up or whatever the case may be. And you might be thinking, what is the point of you telling us this? Now that I'm looking at the footage, I know that if I get her into the right mental space and I go at this tempo at around roughly 42 seconds, she's going to come. As long as I'm being consistent at 42 seconds, she's going to come. Right? To get the first one out. Second one was like at 1 minute and 40 something seconds. Right? So now, okay, first, so like roughly a minute. If I can stroke roughly a minute nonstop, if she's in the right mental space, she should be coming. Right? I know this why? Because I'm watching the game footage. So now I know. This is studying the tape. Okay, I'm hitting it from this angle. If I hit it from this angle right, if I'm doing this consistently. So now you know, okay, so this is what I need to do to please my partner. Right? Maybe you're giving her back shots and she doesn't finish. Maybe you're giving her back shots, she doesn't finish. Why is that? You look at the game footage, you're stopping every 10, 15 seconds. I told you. And keep in mind, the young lady that I made finish, I've been with a few women, okay? Let's just say I've been with like we're just gonna say 10. We're just gonna say 10. And out of the 10, she's on like the easier spectrum. Like making her come is like all the women, she like on a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 is like the hardest, she's definitely on like the 2 or 3. And that was 42 seconds. I've never told anybody this. This is my first time like saying this online. I've gone to a few sex parties. I've had conversation with those women, how they got, because I mean it's a social event. Like, yeah, you're like watching people have sex with, but it's like a social event for the most part, right? You're meeting people, you're connecting with people. And me personally, like, you know, you bring your partner and, you know, you do your thing and people watch, or you and your partner can just watch, whatever the case may be. But I noticed something, like when I was having conversation with women and like I was talking to them or whatever the case may be, and you watch other men do their thing, the consistency is not there. The consistency is not there. You have these conversations with these women, and they're like, and I'm not saying, I don't want to make this very clear. I'm not saying this is every woman. Okay, I'm not saying this every woman, but I've noticed a really big trend of like women saying, once again, this is just from the women that I've had conversations with. All right, I'm not speaking, I can't speak for other women except for the women that I've had conversations with. Okay? I've spoken to these women, and they say that like they really do struggle from penetration, and they find it hard to believe to finish from penetration. And you watch these guys have sex, and they're stopping like they're like trying to go as hard as fast as they can, and they're stopping every 10-15 seconds. Like they're stroking it, and they stop every 10-15 seconds. Some even shorter, believe it or not. And it's like I told y'all about the partner on the hotel, it took 42 seconds nonstop. And I'm watching these men, and they're stopping every 10-15 seconds. And I'm like, well, if she's on the easier side to make finish, and it takes like 42 seconds nonstop stroking, them stopping every 10-15 seconds, she's never going to finish. They can do this for hours. Fuck, for hours. If they're stopping every 10-15 seconds, she's never going to finish. So with the tape, what I need y'all to do, I need y'all to really see how consistent y'all are being. I need y'all to like go over the tape, see how long you're lasting. And what I need you to do, I made a video about this. I think I made a video about this on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure. But tempo. You need to work on your tempo. You need to have different kind of rhythms. Okay? And you're going to start at the slowest rhythm. And you're going to do that for a minute. You're going to stay at that tempo for a minute. And once again, this is you practicing to get better, right? You trying to be more consistent to please your partner, right? You need to be doing this tempo. Find a tempo that you can do for a minute nonstop. And once you master that, I actually did make a video about this because I made a Super Saiyan reference. Once you master this, at least a minute, now we can go to the next tempo. And we're going to do that for a minute. And if we find ourselves, oh shit, it's only been like 10-15 seconds, I need to stop, we need to go back to the first tempo. And we're going to do that for a minute, and then we're going to go back to the other tempo, and we're going to do that as much as we can. And you need to be timing yourself. Okay? You need to be timing yourself. You need to be watching the game footage. Okay, how long does it take for me to do this to make her finish? And you need to go from there. You need to be studying the tapes. Now, with this being said, I wholeheartedly believe this. In terms of like pleasing your partner, in terms of like making your partner finish, if you really want to learn your body, I say this all the time, you should always be starting with head. You should always be starting with giving your partner head. Now, it's a little bit more difficult to like record the consistency that you're doing with head. What I do is I have my partner on like the edge of the bed, and I have my phone looking up. So it's like, I don't know how to explain it. So the phone, so you see it, like, looking at me like this. The phone be on the floor, so that way I can watch my hand, I can watch my arm, I can watch my jaw move. And you start with that, and you start with like the slowest tempo, and you do that for a minute, and then you go faster, and you watch. Okay, how long does it take to make my partner finish doing this tempo? And guess what? Guess what the beauty of the footage is? You could be saying, okay, maybe my partner doesn't like this tempo. I've never made my partner finish with this tempo. Maybe this is something we should start with. Maybe this is something we could build with. And then we go to the next tempo. You need to be watching the game footage, people. You need to be watching the amount of women the amount of women that I've been with, and they've told me, like, oh my God, like, they give me some kind of like stipulation. They're like, I can only finish if I'm on top. I can only finish if I have a toy. I can only finish if it's from like this angle, or like I can only finish, like like it's really, really hard for me to finish. And then like I don't even do nothing crazy. I just go down on them and just go at it for like a few minutes. Make sure they're in the mental space. Go at it for a few minutes. And then they finish within like the first few minutes. Same thing with stroking. And they're like super shocked, and they're like, what the fuck? What just happened? And then I'm like, hey, just out of curiosity, like, do you have, like, would you feel comfortable with me watching any of your videos that you've made in the past? And then they show me the video, and their partner is like fucking them, and he's stopping every like 8 seconds. And I'm like, well, if he's stopping 8 seconds and I was stroking you for like 32 seconds before you got, I can understand why you thought, oh wow, I do, like, I can see why you think it's hard to finish. If you have a video of your partner eating you out and he's stopping every 25 seconds and changing up the rhythm every 25 seconds, and I'm eating you out for like 45 seconds, like, I get it. So fellas, please, if you want to improve, like I said, one of the best ways to do that, record yourself. Obviously with consent. I need to, like, there's going to be people in the comment section. There's going to be people in the comment section be like, you don't do it. Obviously with consent, okay? Don't just record your partner without them knowing, with consent, all right? If they don't trust you to record, that's a whole different kind of conversation you have to have. That honestly is a safety thing. Genuinely, that's a safety thing. And once again, I can't speak for other women. I personally know women that have had men like try to blackmail them or whatever the case may be, and it's something that I'd have to do to build trust and make them feel safe. Regardless, if possible, have that conversation with them, get their consent, and just watch yourself, take notes. And that's what you need to be looking for. That's really about it. With that being said, if you guys like if you guys like this, let me know in the comment section. If you think it's stupid, also let me know in the comment section. Because once again, I want to make this very clear. Like, you know, I just tell you guys what I do, what I've done. I've gotten really good. You know what? We're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into that. But yeah, also subscribe if you like. I'll talk to you guys later.